And we're live. Hello. Happy 100, everyone. Welcome to the 100th show of the Bearded Men of Real Estate show. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And we are two beautifully bearded men of real estate.
Look at this.
If I do say so myself. So thank you so much for joining us on this show. This is a very special show. We are going to get into some of the headlines because we just can't not cover the headlines because that's kind of what we do. So we are going to talk about some of the headlines today. We've got some big news stories. We have 3 or 4 deep dive topics. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. He's doing a for sale by owner, which is kind of a story.
But bigger than that.
More on that is something else that he said. He was talking about a change and a shift in his own philosophy about not ever owning a property. And so he's selling a ton of properties, not just his own home. We are also going to talk about the shift in offices. Some of you guys are still working from home. Some of you are in offices now as stuff is starting to open back up. So appreciate you from wherever you're watching us. But we're going to talk about the shift in how people work and if there could be some opportunities somewhere in commercial real estate or if the whole commercial real estate market's going to crash. And what was the other topic? Oh, yeah. NAR is getting sued in an antitrust suit by TAN, which is what was good, Top Agent Network, over the pocket listing stuff. So we have talked about this pocket listing stuff on our show, and so we will. I guess we could look back over some of the biggest stories because that was a huge story that we covered as well, and then kind of bring people up to date with what's happening with the lawsuit. Yeah. So we're going to deep dive that. We want to know your opinion, and lastly, we're going to look back at the very first Bearded Men of Real Estate show about 2.5 years ago. Dan and I have not watched it since we recorded the show.
Never. We've never gone back and watched it. Now I go back and watch, shows in the last, I don't know. I probably started around episode 30. I'd go back and watch, see sound quality, see how I was, but I've never gone back. Same with Ray. Never gone back and watched episode 1.
I saw the very first 2 seconds just now as I was loading it into the rundown.
Oh no.
That's something else. Okay, so if you're joining us live, we try to record every Wednesday about 12. Today, obviously Friday. So sometimes life and real estate always take precedent, but we will still try to get one in every week. That is kind of our commitment. And if you're joining us live, you can comment live. It's like Melissa did. She said, hey. And then Tom Butts says, happy 100. Thank you. Melissa says happy 100. Thank you so much.
By the way,
we've never asked you guys to review us. I realized this the other day that we have like 1,000 people that like and follow the show and no reviews. So 1,000 of you like it and are looking at it.
We have 1,300 followers.
We have 1,300 followers.
Yes.
So if you could, I dropped a link. Leave a little review. Do some stars and leave a little review. And if you feel that the show is terrible, you can leave a negative review and tell us what we need to work on. And also, if you're not a member of the Be More Contributors group, I also put that in the comments already. So there's the review comment and then join, which would be a part of the Be More Contributors. And Chris Murray with a kissy face, for those of you audio listeners, kissy face, wine, champagne, and cheers, and a trophy. So
and a trophy.
We will be popping the bubbly a little bit later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dan, before we get into these awesome headlines and before we take apart complicated issues like lawsuits and changing trends of millennials, could you tell people what this show is actually all about?
I would love to. Now, when Ray and I met here on the interwebs about 3 years ago, I think you remember 3 years ago, Ray?
Yeah.
So I had an idea for a show because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him. He only prefers shag carpet. Did you guys know that about Ray?
Love the shag.
Only.
Yeah, long nap.
Everywhere. Only shag carpet. No, obviously, he had a beard as well, but he had a layout for the show. And it's the same layout we do today. So I had the show idea. He had the layout idea. So we Wonder Beard combined our powers, and it's the same show you see today. But we also noticed that we both love giving value up front to our clients. So it's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
One of the things we find is a lot of times as we're visiting with people, these topics always come up. So I've actually used 2 of these articles that we're going to talk about today already in conversation with people as they were interviewing me and another agent. I won both of them. Part of the reason I won, they said, "Wow, nobody's sharing this stuff with us.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing." And so we've been looking at that now for years. So we thought, hey, we should start a show. Just, we want to give back, and we want the community. We want real estate agents to be better, to be more, if you will.
We really do. That's what this is all about. We want agents to be better, and hopefully it's helping.
Christian Harris says, "Good morning, gentlemen." Good morning, Christian. Thanks for joining the show. Oh dear.
It's fun.
All
I
right.
get to make up a new fun thing about Ray every week.
That's right. Are you ready to get into these headlines?
Absolutely.
There you go. Our very own transition. Someone told me once that was on a movie, and I was like, wow, they made a movie and modeled that after us. That's incredible.
Weird. And we don't even care. You can totally use that, guys, if you want. It's fine.
Yeah, totally. We're fine with that.
No.
Okay, so the first headline, it seems like weekly, or at least every other week, we always talk about what's going on in the mortgage market. And so this will be no different. So mortgage applications from buyers jump 11%. And CNBC says this signals that the spring housing market may not be a total loss. Which is kind of funny how they talk about it. All right, so it says, as states start open from a new nationwide shutdown, buyers are racing to find homes while sellers are pulling back. Hang on, let me put this. I had to use my face ID so that I could put this on the screen for you guys. All right, so mortgage applications, buyers are jumping 11%. They went up last week for the 4th straight week. It was up 11%, which is only 10% lower than the same week a year ago. So here's a quote from MBA's economist Joel Kahn and the MBA's Mortgage Bankers Association. There continues to be stark recovery in purchase applications as most large states saw increases in activity last week. We expect, I lost my place on that. Hang on. We expect this positive trend to continue at varying rates across the country as states gradually loosen social distancing measures and some of the pent-up demand for housing returns to what is typically in the final weeks of the spring, the home buying season. The article goes on to discuss a couple of anecdotes about what's happening in open houses, which you guys know as realtors. But if you're a consumer watching this, you may not know that a lot of the realtors are having face masking gloves and like Sani wipes and hand sanitizer and stuff like that available at the open houses, so that as people go through the open house, they don't have to touch anything, or if they touch something, they can wipe their hands, and the agent can wipe down the house. And anyway, so they're talking about how agents are changing how they operate in order to make selling houses possible. Now, I thought this was kind of a dramatic image where you have buyers that are racing to find the home. So picture a whole bunch of people at the start line. It's like, ready, go. And buyers are like racing, looking next to just racing. Meanwhile, the sellers are like the fun run. They're just taking a stroll.
Yeah.
And that's
they got crazy paints all over them and crazy headgear on.
Charge. Yeah. So we'd love to hear from you as an agent. If you're in the comments, we'd love to hear what's going on in your market, but that's definitely what's happening in our market. Just this morning, I got back the notice that our offer was not accepted. They accepted another offer, and we didn't even know that there were other offers. So it was a house that sold like 2 years ago and now is $20,000 over what it sold for. And it sold in 6 days. Previously, it took 90 days to sell. So it is a very seller-friendly market in our market.
Yeah, and I have showings both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. So it's just another level of prep that I have to go through. If it's a vacant house, here's what I'm going to do. If it's an occupied house, they may not let us show us right now. So we just have to be prepped for that. So usually I have my clients send about 10 homes, and then they whittle themselves down. Either they need 24 hours of show, or it's drive-by only, or whatever. And they usually get down to about 5 or 7. So it's just another level of prep that I'm sending out to my clients. But we're seeing some pretty crazy stuff. It's an even weirder market than it was 6 months ago. I don't understand how it can be, but it is.
Melissa Mars said, can't race too much. You have to take the time getting the COVID right. Showing it them signed for almost every house. We don't have that.
We do.
Wow. You would think that they would just have it to where it's downloadable in the MLS already signed by the sellers or whatever. Is it signed by the sellers or the buyers? The COVID addendum.
Well, both, but when you're showing the buyers.
Interesting.
So it's just another level of CYA.
Yeah. That's we have a COVID addendum that talks about contract delays, but we don't have one for showing or selling.
Yeah, and we had that one early on too about delays. You can delay when it was very early in March. You can delay if you need to because of what's going on, and then there were some delays because of that. And I don't think it was really because of what was going on, but yeah,
it was refi activity.
Yeah.
Melissa Mars said both. Kevin Paul's joining the show.
What's up, KP? So that's a friend of mine from not the real estate world. I've known him for 30 years, pretty much.
Wow.
Very, very cool. Yeah. Guitar player extraordinaire right there. Rocker.
Wow. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. He's got a style, man. When you watch him play, it's one of those, you see him, you're like, it's so fluid. Like it's so natural. Like you're kind of mad at him because he's so good. Yeah. That guy. Want to do the next one?
Yeah.
Bokros checking in. Sup?
What's up, Ryan? Thanks for joining the show.
He gave the sup.
Check. Yeah. Says check no, bro.
Cool. I give him a plug. He said it's a sponsor. It's a weird way around a sponsorship.
Weird way around the YouTube screening sponsors.
Yeah. All right. So I need to make sure I'm on the right one. Mortgage rates stabilized near record lows, but rates could fall even lower this year. So this is from Market Watch. Mortgage rates continue to hover around all-time lows, and if the economic rebound from the coronavirus shutdowns is prolonged, rates could move even lower. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 3.28% this week, and it goes much deeper about yields and all this stuff. If you want, again, go to Market Watch. A year ago, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 4.07. The average rate for a 30-year home loan dropped to an all-time low of 3.23 earlier this month as jobless claims began because of the coronavirus outbreak mounted. Now, this one's crazy to me, right? The 15-year fixed rate mortgage, meanwhile, fell 1 basis point, so an entire full point, to an average of 2.72. Dude, so if you know your payment's going to be a little higher, but if you can do a 15-year fixed right now, dude, 2 3/4. The trajectory of mortgage rates.
Whenever you think about inflation, that's almost free money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why.
I was having that conversation with a very smart person yesterday about that and how the Fed is at zero. They can even go into negative and all that stuff. The trajectory of mortgage rates could once again be determined by the direction of the yield on the 10-year Treasury note, economists said. The relationship between bond yields and mortgage rates has deteriorated over the course of the COVID-19 crisis, largely because of stress across. Sorry, I'm calling it the Rona now. I forgot. During the Rona crisis, largely because of stress across the mortgage industry. So right now, remember, what did you predict, Ray? I predicted at the end of the year they'll be at 3.5. They're still below that.
I can't remember. That's why I need to go back and look at the show notes for that one. I wrote it all down. It's okay.
Yeah, I think you were still in the threes, just 3.75 or 3.65. I think.
I thought it would go down and then go up.
Yeah, and it's stayed down. It's gone down. So you're you're on the right path.
Yeah, let's see how close we can get. Much like what the REALTOR.com recent study predicts that the market will do. They think it's going to be a W and not a V. I could summarize the entire article by saying it's a W, not a V.
Which one? Oh, yeah.
So Realtor.com released a forecast that home sales will be down 15%, which we discussed last week. Some of the predictions that were down 15% and such. And I think this was one of them. But prices will flatten nationally as demand shifts to secondary markets and more affordable spaces. They believe the recovery will represent a W shape in part due to the wave of coronavirus infections that may happen later this year. The U.S. housing market said, this is a quote. Sorry, who is this? Realtor.com's chief economist, Danielle Hale, said that the U.S. housing market started 2020 with substantial momentum, with some of the best home sales and housing starts in more than a decade. Our biggest challenge is going to be the spring home buying season, where it's going into the spring home buying season with a lack. I think there's a typo in this. With a lack of for sale homes. The coronavirus pandemic has kept both buyers and sellers on the sidelines, preserving market balance for now. As cities and states begin the slow process of reopening, we're going to see a seesaw recovery with ups and downs that will favor the nation's secondary markets and in markets in the short term. So there's been a lot of talk about the secondary markets. There you go. There's their forecast, their updated forecast. So originally, they thought existing home sales would be 5.25 million, and they updated the forecast to 4.5 million. They thought existing home sales would be down 1.8%, and now they're saying it's down 15%. So there's not much change in the home price.
Is it still a forecast, though?
I guess if they're still talking about I guess you could update the forecast to the last day of the year, couldn't you? And then you could say our forecasts are 100% accurate. Right,
because they're still updating a forecast. They're not updating actual hard numbers and hard data.
That's right. It's like when whenever you ask Alexa if it's raining outside or whatever, and it is raining at that time, it's like 100% chance of rain.
Yeah,
they don't say
100%
chance that they're actually right. So I thought this article was interesting because Realtor.com, as we know, generates leads for agents. So what position would it put them in for a stable, even market with prices escalating over time and people able to purchase a home? Like a pretty calm market, I think agents would look at that and say, we don't need a ton of lead gen. But if the market's pretty volatile, then they're going to run to safety, which is lead gen. So I'm not going to say they're completely out of the woodwork of they're not totally not biased in their opinions,
right?
But hopefully a chief economist is looking at the data and just interpreting it honestly without the business side involved.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of the, like Zillow's talking about how volatile it is. Realtor.com's talking about how volatile it is. Meanwhile, the National Association of Realtors is like, Lawrence Yun, I think he said the prices would change a little bit, but it's not going to have a major impact on overall sales.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected as you have major towns and cities that are locked down for a period of time. But the overall economic impact on housing was going to be limited and would fully recover in 2021. So these reports, like the up and downs and all that stuff, it's just interesting to when you consider the business side of these companies that are putting together economic forecasts. I wonder if it has any impact.
Well, and
Rick Ed just checking in. He's saying boom, 100%. Yay! Thanks, Eric.
And
I think the 100 is like our 100th show, not 100%.
Yeah.
So
you just have to know where the data is coming from and what they might have to gain from steering people that way.
Yeah. Okay. You want to go ahead and take on? Oh, yes. So this one is similar to another article that we already talked about, but go ahead and cover this. After Dan covers this article, we're going to talk about the Elon Musk thing. We're going to talk about the office and commercial real estate, and we're going to talk about this lawsuit from NAR. So if you're a real estate agent and you know other real estate agents, I would appreciate it if you would share the show, because when we get into the deep dive, this is when we want a lot of discussion. So all of you who are currently watching, just kind of share your thoughts. We'll get a little bit into each story, and we're going to ask you what you think, and that's your time to shine. We can put you on the show.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead, Dan.
Well, and also when I do this one, we'll transition to the deep dive, but I actually want to know if you guys can run your numbers real quick. I don't know if you guys can do this. Ray pulls numbers weekly, so he has them, but for us, we can look at contract date, like listing contract date. So I went back a year ago and ran those numbers to how many contracts were signed, and then this year compared to beginning of the year all the way, and then from March until now. It's very, very interesting. But that's kind of what this one is about. So if you guys have those numbers or just a sense of what your market is doing, then we definitely want to hear from you. Let's see. So as this is more of a story, this is kind of, what buyers are experiencing. But as states reopen, home buyers rush back out, but sellers are staying on the sidelines. So that's why I ran my numbers. That last part right there, sellers are staying on the sidelines, because are they really? I'm sure some that weren't super committed to selling in the first place, maybe, but sellers that want to sell and have to sell, they're still running to, they're not staying on the sidelines, in my opinion. Okay. At a 2-hour open house in Atlanta on Saturday, about a dozen mostly masked families, that's a funny new thing we have to say, mostly masked families, toured the 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom, newly built home priced at just over $3 million. Noah Graubart and his wife were looking for something close to their children's new elementary school. This is a quote from the husband. "It seems like the number of houses on the market had kind of paused," said Graubart, who toured the home with his wife and daughter. They were all wearing masks as a precaution against the coronavirus, the Rona, and pleased that the open house wasn't exactly packed. And then he said, "As long as it's not crowded, that's fine. I would have waited until other people came out." Now, this is actual data. So the number of for sale listings plummeted in April as both buyers and sellers dropped out of the market as a result of the pandemic. For the week ended May 2nd, total listings were down 19% annually, and new listings were down 39%, according to Realtor.com. Note the source. This is a quote from Ben Hirsch. He's a real estate agent for that Atlanta home. "We've had buyers ready, willing, and able, and the sellers have been the ones who have pulled their homes, changed their minds." Okay. It's probably a bigger hurdle to get over to put your home on the market and invite people in than it is to go look at homes as a buyer. Very interesting note, right? So that may be why the nation's home builders are seeing a sudden surge in demand. What do we say on the show, Ray? New construction, right?
Yep. We've been saying that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Well, and it did take a dip, but then what did we say? We said if new home builders can figure out how to say, hey, new clean feature, newly wiped down with sanitizer, whatever, and there's other new construction stories out there as well. That may be why the nation's home builders are seeing a sudden surge in demand. There is simply not enough existing home supply. And also there is the thought of someone lives there. Is it dangerous? Home builders also tend to build in the suburbs and exurbs farther away from urban cores. While urban living was incredibly popular with millennials, the stay-at-home culture of the Rona may already be reversing that trend. People want more space inside and outside of their homes. So super interesting, Ray. And I did run my numbers. So do you want me to hit the numbers? You want to transition to the deep dive? Go ahead. So for me, this is I went to a year ago. So January 1st, 2019 to May 15th, 2019, 695 new listing contracts. Okay. Then I did January. So same time frame, January 2020, January 1st to today, 2020, obviously, 528 listing contracts. So there's less overall. Remember, this pandemic didn't quote unquote start affecting stay-at-home orders until mid March. But still, that's a bit. Ray, you want to do math on that? 10%. I mean, that's a more than 20% dip in new listings. So it said about 19% less. So that's about right. What were you going to say, Ray?
We've had about 20% less. So the first quarter of this year compared to first quarter last year, we were 20% down. So it's about right in our market too. But our market doesn't have the huge swings, and we're still down 20%.
By the way, party like a pineapple for the viewers. And so then I did
numbers from Tom Butts in Portland, Oregon. He said the April stats, new listings are down 32.4%. From April 2019 and down 17.9% from March 2020. Pending sales are down 34.2% from April and down 13% in March. Now, Portland, Oregon, and Washington State That was hit pretty hard by the Rona, right?
Washington for sure. It was I think it was the first reported or the first outbreak in the Americas.
Melissa Morris says it's easier right now to get into new construction. She said, and by the way, they reopened the beaches here. It's 87 degrees and Route 72 is all kinds of backed up with people going to LBI.
Wow.
That
means Long Beach Island, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who didn't know that?
just in case someone on the show didn't know.
Lisa Park said it's everyone escaping NYC. Yeah, Tom Butt said Seattle area. Yeah, it was hit as hard.
And then I did just March 14th, because that was about when the state that was here in Southern California, the stay-at-home orders. I forget the exact date, but I did March 14th, 2019 to May 15th, 2019, 342 new listings. So, dude, Ray, literally exactly half. If you went to a year ago, it was half at the beginning of the year, half through May, if you do the 695 and the 342. But then I did March 14th this year to today, only 216. So that's a bigger dip than 20%. I mean, 10% is 34, 70. Dude, 105. That's almost 30% dip. Wow.
Christian Harris said we were one of the first, and the stay home, stay safe order was extended for us until June 1st. Wow.
He's Seattle as well.
We being Seattle, and stay home orders for all Washington State.
Wow.
So I'm just curious, since you are on here, Christian, what is buying and selling like? Is it even happening? Are people doing digital? Are they looking at virtual tours? Is there anything happening in the market, or is it just totally 100% paused?
Because remember, in Pennsylvania, it's shut down. They cannot do anything. So I don't know how Washington State's handling it, but specifically for our team here in Southern California, our sellers are thriving because we've always done the virtual tours and all that stuff, but they're thriving. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a good market if you can get on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a couple of stories in the deep dive. As you are watching, feel free to put in your numbers. I know some of you may be looking up that stuff right now.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
If you're watching the replay, just go ahead and put your numbers in, because it's really cool to see what's happening around the country. You know, we have stats from the 10 biggest cities, but I want to know what's going on in the other metropolitan areas, especially the people that watch the show. So put in your numbers.
And it turns out, Ray, that Little Rock and Rancho Cucamonga, California are not the biggest cities.
No, not mentioned in the news much.
That's weird.
Which is to our benefit, mind you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk.
Are we going to transition?
Let's do it.
We don't always do a deep dive, so that was a little extra fun there.
Deep transition. That was a good one. All right, so let's talk about Elon Musk. Is it Elon?
Ellen.
So,
it's Ray Elon Musk. There you go.
Elon. No relation. Are there pictures? Let's see if there are pictures of his house here.
Yeah. The one. There's a really awkward picture of him.
Yeah.
There you go. The update, because we were going to cover that he's doing a for sale by owner on his $30 million place in LA, but now that's not the place. This is a different one. So that's 9.5 million.
Only 9.5.
Right. It's
no problem.
But still LA.
Hey, the estimated payment is only $41,000, $598 a month.
Well, it's also, dude, that Ray, that house is
2,756 square feet.
Yeah, it's 2,800 square feet, and it's $9.5 million.
What's the estimate on that?
Oops, I don't know. Can you scroll down?
It doesn't have it on there. Let's see if I can.
Here, I'm gonna. You keep going, Ray. I'm gonna look it up. 10,930. Is that Chalon? CHALON?
Okay, here's his tweet. This is what I was looking for. So he tweeted, he's been in trouble for some tweets recently saying that the stock price is too high. He also tweeted, "I'm selling almost all my physical possessions. Will own no house. Now give people get back their freedom. Rage against the dying of the light of consciousness." It's known that he smokes pot. There it is. There's a $30 million one.
Oh, dude, I found this estimate, by the way.
What's which one? The $30 million one?
No, this estimate on the 9.5.
What does it look like on the 9.5 million? This one right here. What's the estimate on that one?
Oh, wait, let me see. Make sure you have the right one up. Yeah, that one. Ready?
Yeah.
So what's it? It's listed at $9.5 million.
Listed at 9.5.
And he's for sale by ownering. He's selling on his own. The estimate is $5.926 million.
So it's close.
It's close. He's within $4 million.
Roughly 40%.
Yeah. So by the way, this estimate range, the top range is 7.47 million.
So he's pushing it a little bit.
Oops. If he had an agent, maybe.
That's in LA. Now, this other one is for sale by owner, also in LA.
What is that address? I'll look it up.
I mean, if you guys ain't calling, you ain't balling, right? So you gotta call Mr. Elon.
Oh,
go door knock his neighborhood.
Oh, dude, I found it. His two houses are close to each other. Oh, they're next door to each other.
Why did he do that? Okay.
Wow, the 30 million. They're literally down the street from each other.
This one's listed at 30 million. Well, maybe the first one was his poor house or his guest house. When he was just getting a start.
Right.
He would. All right. So what's this one? It's listed at 30 million. And his estimate is what?
This one's a lot closer. This estimate is 20 million.
Oh, well, only 30% off.
Yeah. But okay, now this is estimate, the sales range goes from 15 to 28 million. So on the high side, he's a little closer, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Listen,
I don't know. I mean,
5 houses all around each other.
Yeah, see, I knew he owned, I think he's selling 7 total right now, and they total about 62 million, but I didn't know they were that close to each other.
This is interesting that he intends to sell almost all of his possessions.
Yeah, not just real estate. Like it's not a...
Wait, what? Lisa Perk says, and his kid's name might be illegal. What?
Wait, what did she say?
What is his kid's name, Lisa? I don't know what's going on.
Hold on, Ray, keep going. I'm going to do a quick search.
Christian Harris, we were asking him what real estate is like there. And he said lots of virtual tours and sanitizing houses. We were only totally shut down in real estate for a week, and then the state revised the real estate practices so that we could still work from home and show properties. No more than 2 people in properties at a time, to include the agent.
Oh.
And strict social distancing must be observed. And all showings, even for vacant houses, have to be scheduled to avoid overlaps. Real estate is happening, but it's slow. Sellers are reluctant to sell, and buyers have nothing to choose from.
Whoa.
Interesting. I think it cut off the rest of your comment. So if you want to read the rest of this comment, please check out the show. So wait. Lance Carroll says Elon Musk is a tad dramatic, in my opinion. Yeah, a little bit. Lisa Perk said it's all weird symbols.
Ray, I just sent you an article.
What?
It might
Lisa Perk said it's like Prince if he wasn't Prince.
Yeah.
All right. Where did you send it through Facebook? The Facebook?
Yeah, Messenger.
Okay.
It's X and then the weird AE symbol A-12.
How do you pronounce it?
It says so. Elon Musk's baby name isn't just weird; it may be against California regulations.
So he's trying to buck the system, I guess, with almost everything he does.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's a way.
He identified the second character as Ash, saying it was pronounced XA12. Did you get the article?
Yeah, there it is. Exact 12. Exact 12.
XA12.
Exact 12. Time for dinner.
Yeah.
Exact 12.
XA12. The street lights are on. Come home.
Melissa Mara said the child formerly known as, which is is it a girl or a guy? Son.
Nope.
It's what the dude is going to do when he grows up. He will be the child formerly known as Exactly 12, and he'll have what's your name? My name's Tom. Tom Musk.
I changed it to Bill.
Bill. Jerry.
Yeah. Or he'll just go by Ash.
Well, it's a perk that rolls off the tongue. Exactly 12.
Exactly 12. Exit 12.
Well, we've talked about Ladasha on the show before. LA-A. Ladasha.
Yeah.
So there you go. Exact. Well, I guess if it's a capital A, when you say A, Exact 12.
Oh, so it's Exact-12.
They're just going to call him Ash Musk.
It's an Exact-12. Exact-12.
Never mind.
I mean, we saw how he marketed the truck. He didn't market the truck. And now we're seeing how he markets his own children.
There, just to mess with California is what he's doing there.
Yes.
Okay, but the reason why we're even talking about this is to bring up a larger point and to see if you guys agree with some of the behavioral changes, millennials and millennial pluses. He's not a millennial, but he's got a lot of influence on the millennial population. A lot of people look to him as a leader. If you've heard millennials talk about Elon Musk, you know what I'm talking about. So the question is, and Dan, I'll put this to you first. Do you think there will be a change in millennials and younger who don't really want to buy a home and don't really want to own stuff and are totally okay renting their entire life? Do you think a majority of millennials and younger than millennials are going to head that direction? Or do you think as they get older, or even, I think the average age of purchase right now is 35, maybe a little older, which is a lot older than it has been historically. So do you think that will continue to where that age limit will just get older and older and older, or will it kind of go back younger? Will people see homes and property as a worthy investment? What do you think?
Well, my next thing to add to that was going to be, with more and more tech jobs now, more and more people getting jobs in tech and being able to work from wherever and making more money. And now people being able to work from home. I mean, I would honestly think they're going to combine things. They're going to have that home office. So they're going to buy, instead of having to rent an office or go pay for an office, they're going to have the home in the office. But I just think always, like for me, it wasn't that important to own a home when I was young. It was, into my mid 30s, same thing. So I think it'll always become more important because when you have a family, I mean, there's people that do it. They live in downtown LA and they have their family, but they're ingrained into that culture, right? But like, I think when you get older, and if you're going to have kids, I think that's an important part of this. You want the grass, you want a park nearby, you want the good schools. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they'll just end up renting in those areas. But for the most part, I just think that younger, faster paced lifestyle slows down. Even if you never have kids, but you do get married, and even if you're a musician or a traveling, engineer that works all over the country, but you just never have kids, I still think it becomes important to have that homestead, that one place that you call home, that when you go home and you take your hat off and throw your keys on the table, that's your home. Yeah, I just think that's always going to be important to people. I do.
Okay. Plain devil's advocate, if that place called home, even for commuters or people that aren't there very often, is important, what does that home look like compared to what homes look like now?
Well, I remember there was the tiny home thing that jumped out, and it was like everyone's going to have tiny homes from now on. And then that's kind of gone by the wayside, right? Like it's still a thing, but people aren't buying homes that they can put on a trailer and they're not trailering their houses around.
Lisa Perk says, I believe so, but they want high-end amenities in a rental. So she's talking about them staying more mobile and less committed.
Yeah.
She said they aren't going to want to live in shabby rent houses, quote unquote. School freedom. Has education been disrupted enough by COVID to shake up assignments based on address? That's a good question.
It's a great
And
question.
how will schools impact people's decision to remain more mobile? I could see remaining more mobile so that they could shift to whatever school districts they want within a year.
Yeah. Well, and maybe I'm curious, we've said it outside of the show and on the show, but I'm curious to see how many more parents start homeschooling because of this, or how many parents go, no, never would I ever homeschool. This is way too much. I need my kids back somewhere where I don't have to deal with them.
I want to say what most parents are experiencing now is nothing like actual homeschool, but
no, I mean,
it's very, very different.
Well, we still have a once a week check-in where there's a teacher there, and the teacher sends out every Sunday night, sends out the lesson plans, and here's what you got to do this week. And there's still a basic guideline, but it would be tough to just on our own, like, okay, come up with a curriculum. But I'm sure there's programs out there we could research and find.
I do know several. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's tons of curriculum and programs and videos and all that stuff. I do find it interesting. I've helped a couple of people sell their house because they wanted to buy an RV and just travel with the family.
Yeah.
Their kids were little, and then just educate, homeschool basically their kids until their kids are more grown, and then find somewhere to settle down after they've been all around the country. That's an interesting move. So I could see a younger population remaining more mobile. I can see a young population not wanting to commit to a single home and not wanting to put themselves in a place where they have a 3-year lockdown or they can't move anymore. I do see the type and styles of homes changing. We've seen a little bit where the tiny home influences it has created better storage options, and more people are thoughtful of how they're using spaces in their homes. So we've seen the tiny home influence like that. But I think houses are going to become more efficient and smaller. I think that's one of the benefits of the open floor plan that you see in a lot of homes, that you can actually have a smaller home. It feels bigger in the living room spaces because you don't have the walls running through.
Yep. And I say it all the time. I tell clients all the time, if you want to open up your search a little bit, I've seen houses that are 1,200 square feet look and feel bigger than a 2,000 square foot home.
Yep. It's all about layout and efficiency.
Yeah.
So I fully anticipate that we'll get better at that as a humans.
Yeah. And I would agree with you too, that things will change for sure.
Howard said, I have a friend who did that. He lives in a quality van and is traveling across the states. Oh, wow. And Howard is our Israeli correspondent. Thanks for checking in.
There you go.
Elizabeth Burdell said, we are transitioning to a smaller home with a lower price tag so that we can do more travel. That's going to be big. People don't want to be locked into a big house with a big house payment. Melissa Marr said, my little place feels pretty big for 700 square feet. Is that your dog? Do I hear your dog?
Yeah. Hi. Usually I have cats to deal with. Today I have a dog to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of how homes are changing, Lisa Perk, I'll read her comment before we go to the next topic. She's current is the same square footage as a former, but this one lives huge for us. So it is all about layout.
Yeah.
So we totally remodeled our house and made it live huge. And what it felt like was a lot smaller. But when you remove a couple of walls and do some things that make it just feel enormous, it's a much more livable space. Melissa Mars said Pupper wants out. All right. So we know that the living situation is changing. But in order for the living situation to change, another big thing has to change. And that's in part offices. Drop in a comment below. I'm going to put the question here. Who is working from home for the first time? Who has always worked from home? who's working from home from the first time, like you normally go into an office every day and you work from the office, and then who has transitioned fully to their home office. There's some discussion. Kramer, he said, I see tremendous, I'm going to try to do the Kramer voice. I see tremendous tall buildings with nobody in them. It's something like that. That's Jim Kramer there.
It's close. It's good. Good.
CNBC's Jim Kramer sounded the alarm about commercial real estate on Tuesday, saying that work from home would be an attractive option even after the coronavirus pandemic is over. He said, I see tremendous office buildings with no one in them. For example, Facebook said last week that it's allowing most of its employees to work from home for the rest of the year. If the choice is between going to get yourself some COVID by going to the office and pressing the wrong button with too many people in the elevator, side to side, shoulder to shoulder with traders, or sitting at home, having a nice breakfast and then going to work, you can silence the dog. No crying babies. You're in business. That's, of course, a quote from Kramer.
Right.
So, and something interesting, Lance Carroll chimes in. He says, from the first time, Elizabeth Riddell says, hate working from home. Melissa Mara says, home now mostly, but I miss my office. Lisa Perk says, me, I finally have a dedicated office for my copywriting business. Melissa Mara says, I'm too easily distracted at home. I like the office a lot and my people heart. Howard said, me, we are getting back to normal. I like working from home. Christian Harris says, first time working from home. Not a fan. Interesting. Way more productive in my own office, but I had to cut costs and get rid of my brokerage office space. Lance Carroll says Southwest Airlines is apparently saving $50,000 per month due to so many employees working from home.
See, we said that on the show that a lot of people are going to realize that people can telecommute and telework, and they're going to save a lot. So I think it's going to hit office spaces quite hard.
But here's the deal. What was it? 3 years ago, we were talking about this before WeWork got started.
Yes.
Actually, it was 2.5 years ago. It was like some of the first stories that we covered, which maybe it's in this show. That if you're just joining us, we're going to take a look at our first show here in a few minutes. But we've talked about this before, how office space was changing because so many people were allowing their employees to work from home. If I remember correctly, Yahoo, like, let all of their employees work from home.
I like how you say Yahoo.
And then
Yahoo.
they brought them all back into the office, saying that everyone was too inefficient.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be some people who are working from home let go because they're going to realize right now they can manage it and they can work from home and they're doing okay, but it's not the volume of production that they normally have due to the pandemic. So right now they're able to maintain working from home. For a lot of people, real estate agents are different, obviously, but for example, the Southwest, right? They can work from home right now, but that's because the volume of travelers is so far down. The question will be, can you maintain a really high production and have your people work from home, or will it be
without having that a-hole manager over you the whole time?
or will it be more like Christian and Elizabeth in the chat who don't like working from home because of the low production? So for myself, I have to create an entire space to be shut into in order to accomplish working from home. I can remember being in college many years ago and going to Barnes and Noble, and they had these big, Starbucks inside Barnes and Noble, and they had these big, huge tables, and we would like take for a section of that, put on headphones, and just work. And to this day, I find when I hear a barista hitting the coffee grinds on the side of the trash can, I'm very efficient.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to put a barista in your home office.
And the whole machines and everything. So I became accustomed to the work environment and could be really efficient, but it's because I limited distraction and can focus and have, had unlimited coffee. So when I work from home, I have to have a situation in which I create an environment that's conducive to me being super productive.
Right.
And when I can't, if I don't have the space, I've got to get out of there. And I think that's what a lot of people have experienced. They've been able to probably temporarily create an environment that's conducive to some production. But number one, they're not at the same production levels. And number two, once they get to those production levels, they're going to have to go somewhere. They're going to have to get out. They're going to have to be with their community again.
Yeah.
So I am predicting that the tall office buildings with no one in them is temporary. What I think will happen is that you'll see some companies downsize when they realize that some of the less productive employees are not actually essential
Right.
for them to keep on the payroll. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. And for me, I always enjoy, obviously we can't go there. Ray needs the sounds and smells. Can't go there right now, but I love working. Same thing, Ray, going into Starbucks. I put my headphones on, I put my head down, and I just go. And there's the hustle bustle. It's, you know, people are being productive. There's other people doing things on their laptops and stuff. So I love that environment. You know, now working, because I've always worked at home, but now working solely at home, it is a little more challenging. But I still have that like anxiety as a real estate agent. If I don't put in a solid day's work and don't do A, B, and C, then I'm not going to get paid in 30 days, you know? So, and I know that's different for like if you have a 9-to-5 job and you go to an office and you have that manager saying you got to get these things done before 5.
Yep.
Now you put them in a home environment where you got kids and a dog and you can take a walk at any time you want. You can go watch Netflix at any time you want. Are you going to get that same amount of stuff done from 9 to 5? So
I totally agree.
I think that, you know, it's somewhere in the middle that if we're doing like a prediction thing, all of a sudden, the high rise thing, obviously I think people are going to still occupy those spaces, but I think the WeWork model, the more just a spot for people to, if they're going to truly work from home, they're going to be instructed. You have to go to our, what would you call that? Our WeWork style, you know, our group
Communal
work environment. Yeah. Our communal office, because you got to go, you got to get away from the house. Technically it's working from home, not a home office, but you're not coming to our office where we, you know, where all the managers and all the CEOs and stuff. So I just think there will be a change in it because that you got to have that worky vibe, that, you know, the clinking in the background. You got to have that to get going. You know, at least I do.
I know for me and my assistant, we are better together because a lot of things I need to tell that. And then by the time I've thought about it, something else has come up. Somebody's calling, right? If she's beside me, I can just tell her immediately. And then I can ahead and move on to the next thing.
Right.
So I know I'm more efficient when I have my assistant with me, but I don't know that being around a bunch of people makes me more efficient or in a space that is a commercial structure. Like that's one of the things I do want people to think about, like Christian and Elizabeth. I think it's more about being in a space that is dedicated office space versus being in a space that is a commercial versus residential building.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. So I think if you can create a space that works for you, you can work in that space. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the commercial. I don't think it's going to kill commercial because people have figured out how to work from home. As soon as production picks up, all those people are going to go back into the office because it's going to Yahoo. Isn't that right? Yahoo. Yeah.
And I would agree. I don't think it's going to kill commercial. It'll just be different, I think.
There's our predictions. Feel free to drop your predictions in the comment, especially if you're a real estate agent. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
With commercial real estate.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth said, I do better with other people working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing other people do stuff.
Yeah.
And a virtual work environment doesn't help in any way. So for me, like when I see someone else's numbers, that keep going. When I can look up my competition and see what they're selling, I'm like, okay, they're working. I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And when I can look up how many homes today went TBU, which is taking backup obviously, or under contract, I think, okay, so people are selling stuff. So there's no excuse for me not selling stuff.
Right.
I'm more.
And what have we said 1,000 times on the show since this has happened is a lot of agents are like, well, can't sell right now, so I'm not going to sell.
Yep. Meanwhile, I think we sold 15 like a week ago. We had 15 go under contract.
Dude.
Yeah. Howard said logical pendulum it will swing back. Yeah.
That's a very Howard comment.
It is very good. Let's talk about the next story. I'm going to bring this one up on the big screen here. So let me do this. Top agent network sues NAR, alleges pocket listing policy is group boycott. So the trade group says its suit has trade group, which is NAR, says its suit has no legal basis. The clear cooperation policy promotes equal opportunity for all. So Top Agent Network, or TAN, a firm that operates members-only private group of top producing real estate agents, has filed a federal antitrust lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors over policy designed to curtail pocket listings. So for those of you who don't know, the NAR instituted a pocket listing that took effect, I think it was May 1st, nationwide, that said you can no longer do a coming soon listing. And if you had a pocket listing, you had to market that listing within your own brokerage and cannot market outside of your own brokerage, which I find interesting because that's one of the problems we have here locally is that brokerage is telling people, oh, we'll sell it, only try to sell it in-house within their own brokerage. And it's hugely corrupt. So they have said no pocket listings. You cannot advertise publicly that a home is coming soon. Instead, you can only advertise within your brokerage that it's coming soon, which does not tell any type of wrongdoing in our situation. So I don't know. Anyway.
Remember we brought it up because before this was the thing, we were talking about the pocket listing service here in Southern California, just that it was a thing. Mm-hmm. And then NAR, there was the NAR that they're making a change where you can't do it anymore. And the entire discussion was around, I see what they're trying to change, what they're trying to go after, but they did it the wrong way. And now if you look at our MLS as of 2 weeks ago, we have a coming soon button. So now, but they have to go on the MLS as coming soon.
And then they have to be put in within 24 hours after that. They have to go live. So this suit alleges, okay.
The idea was there, but it's not curtailing or getting rid of the thing that they were going after. And they're going after a smaller percentage, but they're hindering the bigger percentage of us that use that feature to sell homes the right way.
They're hindering the one thing in that gave sellers an advantage. And that was being publicly known that you were coming soon.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing that actually gave them advantage. And they took that away to where now it's only in-house and there's no advantage to that. All right. The suit alleges that NAR and fellow defendants, the California Association. Oh, this is your neck of the woods, bro. The suit alleges that NAR and fellow defendants, the California Association of Realtors and the San Francisco Association of Realtors, have violated a slew of antitrust and unfair competition laws for adopting clear cooperation policy, known as the MLS Policy Statement 8.0, which we were just talking about what it requires. Is a controversial rule. I want to ask, this includes the San Francisco Association of Realtors, which has said it will impose a $5,000 fine for the first offense, with subsequent violations doubling and tripling the fine amount. Oof. Some brokerages, including Compass and the agency and discount franchisor Assist to Sell, have come out against the policy. As well, while Redfin's Glenn Kelman and others argued in favor for it. Somehow I knew he would be in favor for that. TAN wrote in the complaint that this action is necessary to stop the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, and its affiliates from conspiring to shut down competition and disrupt the relationship between real estate agents and their clients, require agents to violate California law, and take away a family's freedom to choose how they want to market their home for sale.
All right, it's their home. Bold.
Woo. Okay, guys. This is a comment from the previous. He said I work from home, but I think but not nearly as productive. Usually I'm out in the field half the day and home half the day. Working a full day at home is tough with the kids, dogs, and interruptions. Yeah, that's what Jim Cramer was saying. If you figure out a way to silence the dogs and have no babies crying, then you're good to go. I will say that we're moving into our remodel, and we have to finish part of the remodel as we move into it. So it's been a little bit crazy working from home. And I will have to say that if I can get a good 6 or 7 hours in, and then the rest of the day I'm just answering phone calls and emails, that's kind of what I've been doing. So I'll wake up, get to work, put in 5 or 6 hours, and then in the afternoon, I'm either showing houses or on the phone while continuing to move in and build stuff for the remodel. All right, so Ryan Bookrow says, we can use coming soon for 14 days. Lisa Perk said, supposedly hereafter, however many infractions, they will shut a brokerage down. But that's also a bit of a gray area. Pauline said, aha, yeah, dogs bark at everything, which Dan has experienced today.
Yeah, currently.
All right, so what do you think about this coming soon? Do they have any standing? Dan, does TAN have a leg to stand on with this lawsuit, or is it going to be thrown out?
I mean, I think it'll be thrown out. I love that they're making a point. They're trying to make a statement, that so two things. I think they're trying to make a statement. They're saying, that this is violating California law, but I think it's a little bit too late. Like, it's already been enacted. We've known that this was coming for a long time, right?
But they had to enact it in order for a lawsuit to be made. They couldn't have sued before it was enacted.
So, okay. Right? So now it's enacted, and now they're saying it very
15 days after it's enacted, boom, they got the letters. They were preparing for this.
So they were ready.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they going to take on Carr and NAR, and they're going to go, oh, okay.
Well, I personally think it's a good fight. If they're not going to allow coming soon, then they can't allow it in the brokerages too. And that's the part of it that they should have said.
The outcome.
They should have said from the get-go, you can have coming soon, but you can't keep it for your own brokerage, and you can't keep it for your own clients. If you're going to do coming soon, you got to announce it publicly and let people know it's coming and when it's coming.
Right.
That's what they should have said.
Right.
But instead, they're not. It's this big vague thing. And it was all in order to try to get people from double-ending deals. Well, you could make a law or a rule that said if you're doing coming soon, you can't do.
Yeah, or just. I mean, that would have been simple, right?
You're doing coming soon, you can't do both sides.
Right.
All right.
Because those of us agents that are ethical, we use coming soon to market the house, not to get both sides. But there are agents, and I just had this conversation last week about an agent friend helping someone look at homes, and they got essentially screwed out of a house because the agent did a thing in a certain way. I don't want to give too much information away, but did a thing in a certain way to get their own buyer on the house.
Okay, so Ryan Booker says, but NAR allows coming soon in a clear cooperation policy. They don't allow coming soon in the way that most agents were using coming soon to benefit the seller. My understanding of the the clear cooperation policy is that you can do coming soon, but you have to then list it on the MLS within 24 hours. And that's not possible in most situations with coming soon. For instance, we got photos on a house yesterday. I got them back, but I could have told people last week when the lady signed the agreement that, hey, we have a house in this neighborhood coming up for sale. If you're out searching the market this weekend, wait on this house. It's a fantastic house. I could have said that, but I'm not allowed to because I can't advertise that home soon without being on the market in 24 hours.
Right.
All right.
I'm going through coming soon listings right now. In Rancho, there are 8 coming soon.
I bet there were a lot more previously.
Well, and one has been on. This is in the coming soon tab or selection. And this one doesn't have any pictures, and it's been on the market for 4 days. So that's another violation. They are going to get owned.
All right. Let's see. Incorrect. This is why MLSs need to enact a coming soon status.
Well, we have that.
MLS. We do not have a coming soon status.
We do.
We were told that they were following NAR's rule, which we reviewed NAR's rule at length on the show before. I believe that's accurate.
Yeah, we do have a coming soon button.
But when do you have to? How long do you have that you can make it coming soon until it's live?
Well, they're live. I'm on the MLS right now looking at it. I think it's I don't know how long it is. I think you can have it in there for a couple weeks. This one has an HOA too. $1.25 million house with an HOA.
He said in the rule that you cannot market it to the public as coming soon. Could be no public marketing.
But what's public though? So like if I have a coming soon video, which we've already covered this.
Ryan says if you market a property to the public without a coming soon status, then it needs to be made active in the 24 hours. But we don't have a coming soon status.
So you cannot do a video and send it out to your Facebook groups or your Facebook page without it being in the MLS right now.
Right.
That kills a lot of pre-marketing is what it does.
Or TBB, it can be listed as coming soon for longer. Portland, Oregon has 35 in coming soon, no showings.
Yeah, ours are all no showings until, and then there's a date on there.
Are you ready to take a look back and celebrate our 100th show?
Wait, let me get a beer, but I'm not ready, but I will be.
Yeah. Lisa Perks said our MLS, so she's in my MLS. Our local MLS says you can't even market it a private agent only Facebook group. That's correct. That is considered public.
Yeah, you owe $5,000.
Okay, guys, pour one out for your homies.
All right, ready?
I agree. This
I'm gonna pop this open. Ready?
is some cheap stuff right here. I'm gonna try not to shake it.
I'm waiting. I'm gonna try to time it with Ray.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
He's already nervous. All right, you ready? Oh, golly, jeez.
Red Solo Cup.
I specifically asked for something expensive. Red Solo Cup. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers,
100.
people.
Yay. All right, everybody, pour one out for your homies.
This is really good champagne I opened.
Mine was cheap stuff. And my hand is covered. Okay.
I don't think you wanted that to happen.
Huh?
I don't think you wanted that to happen.
No, I didn't think it would that's where I said, have you ever opened a champagne bottle? Yes, but I didn't want to hit like lights and stuff. So usually when I open it, it's like free what's the word I'm looking for? It's not free falling. It's just whatever.
Go nuts. You know,
go nuts. All right. Ron Booker says, cheers. Cheers. Yay. Okay. So thank you guys for joining us on 100 shows. I want to take a look back at our very first show. Dan, are you ready?
I am. By the way, side note, I have never popped a bottle of champagne like that and let it go crazy. Never.
Really?
Yeah.
That's normally what I do.
I don't never have. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm not ready at all, but I'm whatever. I'm ready.
I don't know if you guys can hear audio. Tell me if you can hear this audio. If you can't hear the audio, I'll play it on a different thing. Hang on. Look at that guy.
Oh, geez. Fat Dan.
Can you hear that audio?
No.
All right. Let me play this on a different thing. Oh, great. Please. Michael Elizabeth Rodell from the chat brought me a little rag to clean my hands so I can put my hand down. I'm kind of OCD, I guess you could say. All right, let me play this in. Do a screen share here. This is Fat Dan and Fat Ray do a show together.
Yeah. That's why we originally. Well, that's why we originally started it. We wanted to see ourselves on camera every week and be like, "Oh no, oh no."
That's not good. All right, I'm going to share screen.
Andrea said she can hear fine.
Okay, well, we couldn't hear it, so I'm going to have to do it like this. Sharing the screen, and now,
oh boy,
oh, look at that. Yes, I liked my own video. Okay, yes. Y'all can go back and like this video too. This was September 15th, 2017.
Wow.
What?
I don't even remember. I thought we started late October or early November. That's even crazy.
September 15th. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness.
Hey. Okay, I can kind of hear it, but we need more volume. Can you turn that volume up?
Yeah, there you go. That's terrible. Look how small our beards were at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't hear it, by the way.
You look so serious.
I know. Now I'm wearing celebratory kitty ears.
All right, let's fast forward some.
Can you hear it, Ray? I can't hear it, by the way.
Oh, they can't hear the audio?
I mean, it's there, but it's very faint.
Oh, well, I've turned it up as much as YouTube will allow. I wonder if there's a way to, I don't know if there's a way to turn it up in StreamYard. Melissa Mars said, ha ha ha, Ray had a smaller beard. But yeah, we both had smaller beards and bigger bodies.
Yeah.
I wonder if we have the transition in here.
I think.
Do you know when the transition started?
I think we were doing it since day one, I think. And just the there's a lot of, we talk about where we're from and what we want to do.
Yeah, we really went into ourselves a lot here.
Yeah.
You weren't used to looking at the camera. Look at you looking like. There you go.
Yeah.
I had black glasses. I
Gosh,
tried to do the first show, but at the time, like there were no the graphics. There's nothing else we threw up there. Oh, my hands went in there. Is that a doodle? Nope, I don't think so.
No, we just went. I think this was just live through Facebook, and we pulled the video, right?
No. Our first 3 shows were live on YouTube.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. Lisa Perk says, I have to jump off, y'all. Congrats. Thank you so much. Melissa Murr said, like a whisper. It's not very loud. Sorry about that. Y'all could go back and check it out. Just go to the YouTube channel.
Wow. Cringy.
And you could, it is kind of cringy. There's a Bearded Men of Real Estate playlist in which you can see some of our more recent shows. I have removed some of the old shows just because when it's old news, I mean, it's not really entertaining to keep on, but I'll probably keep them on there from now on. This first show was an hour and 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Hour and 11-minute show. Look at that. look how untatted your arm is compared to now. Dan.
Oh, yeah, I have a little bit more.
Let's see. Where's a good arm? There's an arm pick. Nope.
Oh, Fat Dan. Gosh. Yeah, that was 220. I weighed 220 then.
Wow, really? I was over 300 then.
Yeah. And can I ask, Ray, what do you weigh now?
It's in the 270s now. I actually gained some COVID weight.
You got the COVID-15 going?
Yeah.
The COVID-19?
Maybe it's COVID-19.
Yeah. I'm 40 pounds less.
That's impressive.
Right. That's a look at that big fat face. That's amazing. Yeah.
So what's one of the number one stories you remember from the last 2.5 years, Daniel?
Well, I always go to the Zillow one slang just because it's funny. It's one of our best Be More chops ever. But I love things like the NAR logo that was just a travesty, just horrible, and should have never been done. Should have never paid money for that. And then all the, what I really love is that when we always kind of break a new thing, like a new company that's coming out to get us and out to attack agents, and they're after us. And that seems like it's quelled a little bit. But overall, my biggest thing is that we here on the Bearded Men of Real Estate show got rid of purple bricks. They literally left the company. They literally left the country because of us. 100%.
That is true. We covered them like 2 or 3 times, and then right after that, they just started going downhill quick.
It went once. Done. So we are taking. I don't care. We're taking full responsibility. We got rid of purple bricks. Not less market share. Out of the country.
Out of the country.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find so people can get an idea of how long we've been doing this. I'm going to actually show our rundown here in a second so you can see what one of our rundowns look like. But I want to show you the folders that we have for our Bearded Men of Real Estate shows. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to open that one. I'm going to go back to the share screen. Chrome tab. I think this is interesting. Okay, so here is the Bearded Men of Real Estate, and I reorganized them. That's why you see a later last modified date. I reorganized them because it was getting a little out of hand. But in 2018, here is every one of our shows from the first show all the way to the 40th show in from, I guess, September 15th of 2017. So let's look at the very first rundown. Special welcome, Ray Interest. Who, where, and how long did you become interested in real estate? Who, where, how long for Ray? Intro to the show format.
Right.
Then our first ever article that we discussed.
What is it?
Value Insured study notes that consumers may be starting to worry about the housing correction and believe that now is the time to sell.
Wow.
Joe Menendez, CEO of Value Insured, said that we see more home buyers concerned with timing in the market. He went on to say that this is especially true for millennials, who are more likely to switch jobs, relocate, and upsize in the next few years. No one wants to buy at the peak and finding themselves underwater. So many did a decade ago. 83% of Americans believe that now is the time to sell. 58% say believe that there's a housing bubble and a price correction within the next 2 years.
Wow.
And then I thought this was fun because I made Dan read the Apple information. You remember that?
Yeah.
When Apple released new stuff. So I'd always make Dan read the Apple stuff because he's a Droid user.
Yeah.
We talked about home prices jumping. Recent search shows that homeowners who list their home for sale by owner are not saving money. There you go, Elon. The National Flood Insurance
from
Program
3 years ago.
Or will it really? So this was our first gotcha headline that we discussed. The National Flood Insurance Program may be expiring soon, or will it really?
Yeah.
So that was a gotcha headline that we kind of.
That's where it all started.
Yeah. Pending home sales lessened by 0.8% in.
Dude, it's really cool that it started that early, that we started digging past the headlines in literally show one.
It's pretty wild. So this is, can you see the whole rundown now? Do you see the whole list? Yeah. Okay, good.
No, we still see, by the way, just the drive. We don't see the actual document.
Oh, you didn't see the actual document?
Yeah. Did it open a new window or I don't think it.
Oh, that's what it did. It opened a new window. Hang on. I just want you to see it and then I'll.
Oh, I see. It opened a new window that you weren't sharing.
Right. Hang on.
It opened a new window away from the window you were sharing. Dude, technology tips. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't see that because I'm actually looking at the doc, so I can't see what you guys see.
Yeah.
Melissa Moore says friggin' purple bricks. Dan loves Apple products, and NFIP never really expires. It's a new fight every year. Okay, so this is what it looks like when we are in the rundowns.
Nice.
You can see our intros at the top, and then we have headlines, and this was our first one right here, the Value Insured study that we were talking about, Joel Menendez, and then we put the source link. Oh, and this was funny. So I gave this to Dan. I gave this Apple released this new iPhone, and I made him read this, and then he adds this nasty surprise from Forbes. He's trying to poison the Apple. That's funny. So these are our headlines, and then we had some talking points about FSBO selling for less. Does the new iPhone affect real estate? We dug into the Value Insured. So we changed our format a little bit from that. Now, as we go through the article, we kind of do a shallow dive into those articles, and we don't put them so much into the deep dive.
We've kind of, the deep dive is really kind of become, a very rare commodity here on the Bearded Men Real Estate Show.
which we could go back the other way. It kind of depends on what other people want, honestly. Yeah, I have like champagne up my elbow here.
Well, what we've always kind of done, which is why Ray and I like doing the show live, is because we're very good with flowing live and just letting things happen. So usually with the shallow dive, it kind of gets some points, and then reacting to the comments right there usually works best for us, you know?
Let's see. We did in 2019. How many shows did we do? We went from 46 to 83.
So 38,
well,
37 shows.
I mean, and then this is what we have so far year to date. From 84 to, I have 103 in there. So if we change the format, I can change it after 103.
Right, not yet.
Not yet. But we are open. Let's see. Tombat said, haha, when in doubt, put it on a spreadsheet.
Always.
So it has been a really helpful way to share the show rundowns and what's going on in the show to keep us both posted. We do the articles in there. We start to collect them earlier in the week, and then usually the morning of or the night before, we'll put those articles in there after we've kind of collected them. Where do we collect them from, you ask? Well, some of them are contributed from our Be More Contributors group. So if you are not in the Be More Contributors group, please sign up there. If you are a Be More Contributor especially, we would love it if you would review the show. So click on our page and then review it. You give it star rating, or you can write a lengthy review about how we've changed your life and improved your real estate career. It's up to you.
Yeah, if you truly want to improve your real estate career, go review the Bearded Man and Real Estate Show.
Melissa Marr says, you are so organized. Love it. That sounds like a perfect review, Melissa.
Boom.
I'm just going to start doing that from now on. Any compliments that are in the chat, I'm like, oh, you should really add that to the review.
Yeah. Go update your review that you've already placed.
Yeah. So we still have 10 of you with us. For those 10 of you, I want you to see something that we also do on YouTube. So I'm going to go back to our YouTube. We have been uploading usually the day after the show. We've been uploading the show to YouTube. And this is an easy way, if you want to go back and listen to the show or find a very particular article. Let's go to...
This is cool.
Let me open this one. So what we've done in the comments, I got to share this so y'all can see it, because you can't see it unless I share it.
Wait, hold on. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh. And that with the... All right, so here's show 98. This is what show 98... Oh, how embarrassing. And we're in the same shirt. This is what show 98 looks like. But if you go down here, you hit the little show more. You see this?
Boom.
Here are the headlines and what time in the show we talk about these headlines. So if you're wondering, like, when did we talk about, what did we say about Mr. Cooper and their wholesale lending?
Click it and it takes you there.
Click it and it takes you there. In 4240, will house prices remain stable despite property market lockdown? That's a really good question. We're going to deep dive right after this. There you go. So it makes it super easy for you to go back. I also put it as the first comment now. So if you are on your mobile, that'll show first. And then we have the deep dive, or any guests on the show will also be there too. So we'd love some interaction there. You can like, comment, subscribe, share, and let people know. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, we're building it all out. We want to get as many people exposed to what we do and what we're bringing to the table, because it's not really what I believe that it's grown into. Is that it started, realtor centric, meaning we wanted to help real estate agents stay current on news, but we really want to get this because it helps us personally so much with our clients. We really want to get this to the consumers and have them see this. And our news is so current, like Ray said a couple minutes ago. We're looking at stories throughout the week, but literally before the show, minutes before the show, every single show, we're changing articles, updating this and putting this out, pulling something if it's not as interesting. Yep. So, please do reach out, share, go comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get the bell on over there, everything, please.
Howard says, cool. That's cool. That sounds like a good review, Howard.
That's a great review if you want to go over to the Bearded Man Real Estate Show. By the way, 1,300 followers.
Not a single review.
Not a single review yet.
So thank you, guys. We love you. You can find us everywhere online. Right down here is where you can find us. Ray Zorback. Dan is D Ludwood Rock. So find us on Instagrams, Twitters, and the all the social nets. So, but thanks for joining us on our 101 shows.
100.
For being
That's a lot.
of the community. Thank you for being a part of all of our shows leading up until now. So I can't thank you enough because you are the reason why we do the show. So
Absolutely.
we
And
appreciate
by the
it.
way, we're just getting started. 100 episodes in. I feel like we got another 1,000 in us. So
We might, well, actually, we do because it's verified. We do have a pretty big guest next week.
ooh, yeah.
Not even joking. Pretty big. So cheers to 100 and 100 more at least.
Appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.